Never let anybody see you sweat.
So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener. I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw. Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with the show.
Vanessa Kendricks claims she spent thousands to fence in her yard for a small dog, but her cousin backed out of giving her the pup. Belinda Hawkins says she never told her cousin to put up an expensive fence, so she doesn't owe her a dime.
Okay, Ms. Kendricks, you're suing your cousin, Ms. Hawkins, for $4,600 because she promised you a dog and you went out and spent that money preparing, and then she wouldn't give you the dog. So tell me how this comes about that she offers you a dog.
Yes, Your Honor. Belinda is my little cousin. We grew up together. She's very dear to me. I love her like a little sister. I've told her that since my children are grown now, that I wanted a dog. She said she just so happened to have a little cavapoo named Gigi, who is adorable, who I could have because her husband wasn't going to let her keep the dog.
And your understanding was that her husband was objecting to another dog because she already had how many?
Yes, she has 2 dogs already.
Okay.
And her husband did not want another dog.
So she says to you, what are her exact words? I may have a dog for you, or I have a dog for you. What does she say?
At that conversation, she said, I may have a dog for you. And I said, I would be greatly interested. And she said, great.
And then what happened?
And then we started making arrangements. I told her that in order to take the dog in, I would have to dog-proof my home. I would have to build a fence to...
You told her that you would have to build a fence if you were taking the dog?
Yes, I told her.
And did she know you were building a fence?
She did know. She did know. I told her that I had to dog-proof the home, that I had to buy supplies for the dog. I just had to get ready to bring the dog into my space. And she knew this. She texted me to make an arrangement for me to come and pick up the dog. She texted me on Tuesday. And
when was the first time you had the conversation with her about the dog?
The conversation started about a week and a half before.
Before the Tuesday?
Yes.
And during that time, did you have other discussions with her?
Yes, I told her all of the things that I told her that I had to buy different things.
Did she tell you she was trying to get her husband to agree to keep the dog?
She did not. She said she wanted to keep the dog, but that her husband was against it.
Okay. And then according to you, you're telling her, I'm putting in a $4,000 fence.
I told her, yes.
Did you tell her how much it was?
Well, yes, I have a pretty big yard. It's 0.6.
That wasn't my question. Did you tell her how much it was that you were putting in a $4,000 fence or whatever it was?
I told her how much the fence costs after she...
Okay. That's not my question. My question is,
Sorry,
on the phone, before you get the dog,
yes,
and you're putting $4,000 into a fence for the dog,
yes,
did you tell her, I'm putting in a $4,000 fence?
We had discussed the fence.
Yes or no? Did you tell her I'm putting in a fence that costs $4,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
You told her it cost $4,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
You told her that before she said, I'm keeping the dog?
Oh, no, Your Honor.
You told her that afterwards when you were complaining, hey, my fence cost $4,000. But did you tell her that you were putting a fence in?
I had been telling her that I wanted to put a fence in, so she had an idea of the cost that it would take.
Your Honor, I got this dog from my friend because she couldn't keep the dog. And I took the dog in, but I already got 2 dogs. So my husband was like, we're not getting no 3rd dog. But I wanted the dog because it was a girl dog and she was cute. But he giving me a hard time about it. So when she told me she wanted a dog or was thinking about getting one,
then
I was like, I might have a dog for you.
Wait, stop. Did you actually tell her that, or that's what you were doing?
That's what I'm saying. I told her that. That's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to convince my husband that
to let me keep the dog.
Did you know she was buying like monogram things for the dog and putting a fence up?
She said that she needed to get some stuff to get the house ready for the dog.
And did you tell her, what are you doing? I'm not even sure I'm giving you a dog? Or did you say, okay?
Yeah, no, it was just conversation, and I'm just like, well, let me see what JJ talking about, my husband, because he was giving me a hard time.
You made a plan for her to pick up the dog.
Well, okay, so in my mind, I told her we could all
Your
meet
Honor,
up and talk
I
about
have
it.
the text
But
message.
yeah, let's see the text. Let's see if it says, let's meet up and
Thank
talk about the possibilities, or if it says, come pick up the
Yeah,
dog.
I
All right,
really,
let's see. Hey, V, so I'm thinking you can come by Saturday at 1 p.m. and pick up the dog. How does that sound to you? Does that sound like you're still thinking about it and trying to persuade your husband?
Yeah,
It sounds
I
pretty
said I'm
clear
thinking.
that you're good. That sounds great. We are so excited to welcome her into our home. That's a plan for her to get the dog. She's supposed to get the dog Saturday. What happened on Saturday? You were able to, you got your husband to change his mind.
Yeah, so when he came home from work, I was like, so babe, you know what I'm saying? You see how the kids interact with the dog and stuff. Can we keep the dog? That's my little girl. And he said, yes, we could keep the dog. So
Oh, did you think to call your cousin off and say, hey, cuz, I'm going to keep the dog?
I thought, but something happened. You know what I'm saying?
What happened?
My sister-in-law called me. She's 7 months pregnant with twins. Her car broke down.
And why can't you call her on the way to pick up your sister-in-law?
Because it was an emergency.
No, I know. Well, you can, in an emergency, you could still say, hey, I got a problem. Don't come. I'll talk to you later.
I was more concerned about my
You could be
sister and the
concerned about
kids.
both. You could just cancel the plan because you have an emergency. Other people do it. It's not that Herculean an effort.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
There's no question that you were giving her the dog and you changed your mind.
It's my dog, though, Your Honor.
You're not listening to me. Do you deny that you told her, come pick up the dog?
Yes.
And later,
But then we get to Friday. My wife picks up Anya from camp, and she's in tears. She was horrified.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People. We're back with the case of Vanessa Kendricks, who is suing her cousin Belinda Hawkins for a failed pet adoption.
So now you get to the house, you think you're picking up the dog, and what happens?
Yes, I arrive at 1 p.m. as we planned.
Yep.
I called her, and she says, my husband said we can keep the dog.
Was there anybody at the house, or nobody was at the house?
No one was at the house. I was there waiting for her.
And had you even seen a picture of the dog?
I had. She sent me photos. It's adorable, Cavapoo. Gigi is beautiful. And
How much do you think you jumped the gun? Because you know that was her first intent, was to keep the dog.
Well,
so maybe it would be a really good idea to have the dog before you spend $4,600. It's not like you bought a leash and a plate. It's like you went nuts.
Your Honor, I was super excited. to
I
be getting this
understand,
dog.
but were you ever thinking about putting a fence in before this?
I had considered putting a
Okay,
fence in.
so how much did the fence have to do with the dog then?
I was very excited. And
Right, but why would she have to pay for a fence you were thinking of putting in anyway? Like, in other words, okay, let me explain to you ladies, stop. Let me explain to you ladies what the law is, okay? She promises to give you a dog. That's not a contract. A contract is both sides give up something. You give up $2,000 and she's gonna fix your roof, okay? So she gives up something, her time and labor to fix your roof, you give up something, the $2,000. That's a contract. I'm gonna give you a dog is a promise, and that's not necessarily enforceable. However, it becomes enforceable if you are well and clearly aware that this person is detrimentally relying on your promise, and you know that they're spending money based on your promise.
I didn't
You
know
might
she was
end up
gonna spend that
liable
money.
for the money they have spent based on your promise. What did you tell her you were doing? According to you, you told her, I'm putting in a $4,100 fence. I think you later admitted that you just told her you were putting in a fence. And then you say what? That she told you she was what? Nothing?
I didn't know nothing that she was doing.
She didn't
to
tell you
prepare
she was
for-
putting up a fence?
That's something that they had been discussing
That's
before
not my
the dog
question.
was
I
already.
already asked her about that.
Right.
My question to you is, what did you know? When you're talking on the phone with your cousin, what does your cousin tell you? Not yet. Don't give me the dog yet because I got to do a bunch of stuff. Did she tell you what the stuff is?
Nope.
Yes. You're lying.
Okay. There's no question, though, that you were giving her the dog and you changed your mind, right?
It's my dog, though, Your Honor.
You're not listening to me. Do you deny that you told her, come pick up the dog?
Yes.
You're going to deny that? I'll do it again. So I'm thinking you can come by Saturday at 1 to pick up the dog. How does that sound to you? That sounds great. We're so excited to welcome her into our home.
In my mind, when I say I'm thinking, that's not a solid.
No. I'm thinking you can come by and pick up the dog at 1. The thinking is about what day and time. It's not about picking up the dog. You're making a plan to pick up the dog. You suggest a time. That's what you're thinking. And you want to know if she agrees with the time you're thinking of. And she says, that sounds great. I can't wait to welcome her into my home. What part about that is confusing? None of it is confusing. None of it.
Well, what's also not confusing is that it was my dog to begin with, though, and I had the right to change my mind.
Oh, no, you don't. You have a right to change your mind, okay? But when you do, you may have to pay for the consequences of doing that. That's a part you're not understanding.
But there was no money or nothing, no numbers or nothing discussed for me to be liable for.
She says you're lying, and that she discussed with, and she says you're lying. I got to figure out who to believe, and you're telling me you never told her to pick up the dog. You were just thinking.
I never told her to buy all that stuff either.
That's not the question. The question is, did you know she was making plans for the dog, and therefore you have to pay for the plans? And to what extent? Was she actually telling you, I'm putting in a fence, I'm doing this, I'm ordering monogram stuff, and all this stuff? That's the question for me to answer. I don't want to hear another word from either one of you. Hold on one second. You have to understand that there is a limit to detrimental reliance, okay? There's a limit. You can't go out and spend $50 million and then say, you owe me $50 million. It's got to be reasonable. Yeah. There's things that are reasonable, and then there's things that might be on you before you actually have a dog, all right? And I'm going to find that she has to reimburse you the money that you spent except for the fence. I think the fence is something you and your husband talked about having before, and plus you have the beauty of this amazing wood fence all around your property, and I don't think that that's a reasonable... that's something that she should reasonably expect to have to pay if she changes her mind, a fence to beautify your land. But I am going to, the doggy toys and the customized bed with her name on it and all that stuff, I am going to order her to pay you. That's $500 verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, folks.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $500.
You know, you're my cousin. I love you, but you really disappointed me, and you cost me a lot of money.
The only thing I'm gonna ask for is all this stuff I'm paying for.
Coming up.
And she's telling us, well, Jacob told her this story about how he has 2 moms and how one of them had colon cancer and died and was cremated.
You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. Aiden Urson claims his young daughter was traumatized by story time at summer camp, and he wants his money back. Paula Markey says she approves every story for the children, and refunds are not an option.
Mr. Urson, you are suing Ms. Markey for the return of $3,200 that you paid for summer camp, and you had to withdraw your child. Tell me what happened.
Thank you, Your Honor. My wife Sarah and I are both very busy professionals, and we were looking for a summer camp solution for our 5-year-old daughter, Anya. The Markey camp is an 8-week camp, and so we thought we were gonna have this locked and loaded for the entirety of the summer, and we wouldn't have to scramble around trying to find solutions.
And what's the focus of the summer camp?
So we basically offer an outlet for parents to drop off their kids during the day. So we do outdoor stuff like sports, swimming. We also assign at least 1 hour of schoolwork a day. We think that's important to have for the students, at least an hour.
So what happened?
So we took our daughter there for the first week of camp, and Monday through Thursday, everything was great. But then we get to Friday. My wife picks up Anya from camp, and she's in tears. She was horrified, and come to find out that it's because of this Human Stories program that Ms. Markey had provided for the camp.
What's Human Stories?
We offer a way for students to hear about real life stories and experiences from people in the world without having to open a book. So these are people that are real people with real life experiences that come into our library at the camp. And students are able to choose either reading a book or listening to a real story. For instance, for someone at our camp named Jacob, who shared his story about his 2 moms.
Hold on a second. Do you vet the stories beforehand?
Yes, I interview everyone.
Do you vet the books that you have in your library?
Yes.
Okay.
Coming up.
It's not up to her or anyone else to decide for our daughter when she needs to learn about gay marriage or death and cremation.
You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Aiden Urson, who is suing Paula Markey over summer camp story time.
All right, so what, according to you, went wrong?
So what she just alluded to is that this fellow Jacob is telling my 5-year-old, and we were very excited about the fact that there was this educational time
Component to
allotted.
it, yeah, right.
Because our daughter was transitioning from preschool to kindergarten, and so we thought, oh, this is going to be great. She's going to get a leg up on the other kindergartners going in. And so pick up our daughter, and she's telling us, well, Jacob told her this story about how he has 2 moms, and how one of them had colon cancer and died and was cremated. And now these are topics that my wife and I are conservative. We just wanted the opportunity to breach these topics with our daughter on our own, in our own time. It's not up to her or anyone else to decide for our daughter when she needs to learn about gay marriage or death and cremation.
Did you ever speak with Anya?
Yes, I did. And as a matter of fact, I had Anya, I had her tell me the story again, and I recorded it on my phone. And I actually brought it here as evidence to present to you.
All right, let me see it.
Daddy, Jacob told us a story at summer camp about his 2 moms and how one of them got cancer and died and they burned her. It was really scary.
Okay. Did she say anything else? Was there anything she was obsessing about?
Absolutely, Your Honor. All weekend long, she's asking us a million questions about how come some families have a mom and dad and others don't, this new concept. And she was having nightmares about us dying or being burned. And
I'm infinitely more concerned about that.
Judge Milian's verdict when Justice for the People returns.
You're a summer camp runner, you know, that's what you are. You're an owner of a summer camp, and it's truly not up to you to decide when a 5-year-old, clearly, because you see how upset the parent is. You know, I'm not going to get into, you know, whether same-sex marriage or anything. It really doesn't matter, because I am so horrified about the death part, and because death was a really big topic when we had to broach it with our children. And not only that, cremation is pretty sophisticated and scary for a kid, and it's not your place. I'm going to order you to return his $3,200. And I know that you couldn't get another kid in that slot. I don't care. Think about the curriculum more and make sure that it's not, you know, I don't care about politics. I don't care about absolutely anything else other than, is it age appropriate? And I don't think it is.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $3,200.
I hope you learned something here today, and that you'll take this into consideration with your camp and not have such inappropriate topics.
There's a good resources with learning from other people and hearing their stories.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.